What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be making my definitive top 20 UFC pound for pound list. So, number 20, we've got Justin Gaethje. So, Justin Gaethje, in his last 5 fights, he's lost to Charles Oliveira, who, guess what, is on the list, and he's lost to Max Holloway, who's also on the list. And then he's got a win over Dustin Poirier. They're 1-1, but Justin's win is more recent. That's why he's on the list instead of Poirier. And I think Fiziev twice is better than Benoit Saint-Denis once. So, I gotta have Justin over Dustin Poirier just by a little bit. So he's number 20 on my list. I just think, he's just got an impressive resume, one of the greatest lightweights of all time. Coming back from a KO loss from Holloway. Um, Very impressive. Like, he got KO'd bad, and then he comes back and he beats Fiziev in the rematch. Fiziev is ranked 11. I think he's better than that. I think he should be like 7. Um, swap Fiziev and Michael Chandler. Swap their rankings because Michael Chandler sucks and Fiziev is actually good. But on to number 19, Robert the Reaper Whittaker. So I've got Whittaker here because um, in his last couple fights, he's lost to Hamza Chimaev and DDP. Those are amazing fighters. He's beat Ikram, he's beat Paulo, he's beat Vittori. Now, those wins aren't crazy impressive, but you can go back before that. He's beat Jared Cannonier. He's just beat a lot of people, and I thought he should have beat Izzy in their rematch. So that's a win as far as I'm concerned. I thought he won that fight pretty clearly. Um, so yeah, I've got Robert Whittaker here at number 19. But let's move on to number 18. We've got Nasruddin Imavov. So I have Imavov here because he just knocked out Izzy. Before that, he beat Brendan Allen. Before that, he beat Jared Cannonier. And before that, he beat Roman Dolidze. Those are four, I think, top 10 middleweights. So I think he's got 4 wins, somewhere in the top 10, maybe like top 13. I don't know where Dolidze's ranked, because Dolidze's not that great. But those other 3 wins are amazing as far as I'm concerned. I have to have him here on the list. He's this close to a title shot. So, yeah, I have a Mavov at number 18. On to 17, I've got Yuri Prohaska. So, Yuri, I think he's got, let's see, Dominic Reyes, that's 1 fight. Volkan, 2 fights. Then he's beat, fucking hell, dude. He's beat Glover. He's beat Rakic. He's fought Pereira twice. And then he's fought Hill. So he's got like 7 fights, and he's got like 5 wins. He's beat some of the best light heavyweights. He just knocked out Jamal Hill. And he's only lost to Alex Pereira, who up until today was like number 2 on the pound for pound list. So I have to have Yuri here. I think his resume is incredible. He's been knocking everybody out. And I think he would beat Ankalaev. But just based on his last couple wins and who he's beat, I have to have him here on the list. But let's move on to number 16. I've got Arman Sarukian. Now, Arman's only like really crazy impressive win is Charles. That's like the only big name he's got, but he did knock out Beneil in a minute. Before that, I think he beat Joaquim Silva, but he's just been like, I don't know. I have Arman here based on just skill as a fighter over his resume, just because I think he is that good, and I think he does deserve to be on the list. He was just about to get a title shot. I think he's in the top 3 best lightweights. Like number 1, I'd have Islam. Number 2, I'd have Ilya. Number 3, I'd have Arman. So I think he deserves to be here. So I don't have much more to say about that. But number 15, we've got Sean O'Malley. Now, I have Sean here because he was a defending champion. He's beat Peter Yan. He's knocked out Aljamain Sterling. And he beat the shit out of Cheeto Vera. And I think his fight with Merab was much closer than people give him credit for. That was an extremely close fight. So I have him here. I think he deserves to be on the list. He is still like the number 1 ranked bantamweight, I think. And he's beat 2 of the best bantamweights ever in Aljo and Peter Yan. So you got to have him on the list. I have him at number 15. You could swap him. Like, I could say you could get him as far down as 17. But I think he deserves to be here. But let's move on to number 14. I've got Hamzat. There's not a lot to say about Hamzat. Um, he submitted Robert Whitaker in like 3 minutes. Whitaker did have a bad jaw injury. I think the fight would have gone completely differently if he didn't have that. But that's just what happened. That's how it goes. I can't take anything away from Hamzat. He was still able to get dominant positions on Whitaker and out-grapple him like we've never seen before. Um, and he was able to beat Kamaru Usman. He looked amazing in the first round of that fight, and then he kind of fell off. But just those two names back to back are crazy impressive. I have to have him on the list. He's about to get a title shot. He's got to be here. Just one of the most dominant grapplers in MMA ever. And he's got to be on the list, okay? Argue with the wall. Hamzat Chimaev is number 14 on this list. Let's move to number 13. We've got Charles Oliveira. So I have Charles here because he's really only lost in his last couple fights to Islam Makhachev and Arman Tsarukyan. And that Tsarukyan fight was extremely close. You could argue that he won that fight. And he just beat Michael Chandler. He's beat Chandler twice, who somehow is still number 7. I don't think he should be, but he is. He's beat Dustin. He's beat Justin. So that's 3 title wins. Yes, I consider the Justin fight a title defense. Argue with your mother. I think he made weight. I think the scales were fucked up. But you gotta have Charles here, dude. He was on such a long win streak before the Islam fight, and then he beat Beneil, and then he lost a split decision to Arman, and then he beat Chandler. So you gotta have him here. He's been fighting the best lightweights, and he's been beating them apart from the champion and the other best lightweight on the roster. So yeah, gotta have Charles here. Number 12, I got Max Holloway. I know he lost to Ilia Topuria, but before that, he slept Justin Gaethje out cold in one of the best performances of his career. He beat the Korean Zombie, which isn't that great, but he beat Arnold Allen. I just gotta have Max here. He's been fighting for such a long time, been beating the best names, and that Justin Gaethje win really boosts him up. If he, let's say he lost a decision to Ilia, I would have him maybe like in the top 10, but getting knocked out in his last fight, that does move him down the list a little bit, but still. Holloway's got to be top 15. I've got him at number 12. I would say these 3 are kind of interchangeable. You can move them around how you want, but this is how I see it. So let's move on to number 11. All right, sorry guys, my mic got unplugged again. Um, yeah, I got Volkanovski here at 11. He's lost to the pound for pound number 1 fighter, and Ilia Topuria. I don't want to spoil where he's at on the list. You'll see later. Those 2 losses are not that bad, okay? He's beat he's beat Holloway 3 times. He's beat Brian Ortega. He's beat fucking everybody. He's beat everybody, dude. He beat fucking Korean Zombie, Brian Ortega, Max 3 times. Yair. Those are just impressive wins. His first fight with Islam was extremely close, and he's just one of the best, most skilled fighters ever, and he's about to fight for the belt. So I gotta have him at number 11. It's Volkanovski, guys. Come on. On to 10. We got John Jones. He's the lowest ranked out of all the champions on this pound for pound list. Fuck off with if he's on the list, he's got to be number 1. No, he doesn't. He's fought like 3 times in the past 5 years. He's beat Reyes, Gane, and Stipe. Stipe's not in the UFC. Reyes is barely in the top 10 at light heavyweight, and Cyril Gane realistically lost his last fight. So none of those wins are impressive from John Jones. Stipe was 80 years old. Gane is just not that good. And Reyes, got knocked out 3 times after fighting John. So John Jones is at 10. Argue with my nutsack. Um, yeah. He's lucky to even be on the list. The only reason I have him on the list is because he is a defending champion. So I have him here, but he's lucky to be on here. Number 9, I got Bilal Muhammad. So I feel like a lot of people are going to say Bilal should be higher. And I get it. He has beat a lot of great names even before the belt. But that fight with Leon was very close. And he doesn't have any title defenses yet. So we could start talking about Bilal in the top 7, top 5 once he gets a title defense or two, which I don't think he will. But yeah, I got Bilal here at 9. He's got some impressive wins. He beat Gilbert Burns. He beat Leon. He beat Wonder Boy. He beat Sean Brady. He beat Luque. So those are some good wins, but not enough to put him above Pereira, in my opinion. Even though he just lost, I have Pereira here at 8 because he defended his belt 3 times in like 7 months. Would have been 4 times if he got the decision against Ankalaev, which I really think he could have got. But yeah, the guy has beat Yuri Prohaska twice, slept Jamal Hill, slept Khalil, and then he just had a really close fight with Ankalaev. So I have him here at number 8. His resume is still impressive, and I'd like to see him get a rematch against Ankalaev. But on to number 7, we've got Tom Aspinall. So I have Tom Aspinall here. Even though he is an interim champion, let's be real, he's the champion, okay? He's defended his interim belt. He's got like 6 wins in the top 10. That's fucking crazy. Okay, 6 wins in the top 10 of your division. He's cleared out his division, basically. The only guy left for him to fight is Cyril Gane and John Jones, which I don't think Jones is going to fight him. So I got Tom here just because of like how many people in his division he's beat. So yeah, couple more wins and Tom Aspinall could be in like the top 3. It's just there's not a lot of people at heavyweight, and he's beat all the good people. So yeah, but on to number 6, we got Big Ank. So I got Big Ank here. He beat Rakic. He beat Johnny Walker. He went to a draw with Jan, which isn't that bad. It's Jan Blachowicz. Very good. And he did just beat Pereira. Even though I didn't think he beat Pereira, he still fought amazing. He fought very well. He looked incredible in that fight. So I have to have him here at 6. Pereira was like number 2. Okay? You beat the number 2 guy on the pound for pound list. The bare minimum is number 6. The only reason he's number 6 is because of who's ahead of him. So, yeah, Ankalaev, his resume is great. 1 or 2 more wins, and he's like number 2 on the list. Okay? So, yeah, I gotta have Ankalaev here. Even though I don't like that he beat Pereira, I don't think the decision was right. It's still impressive to make it that close, and it is a win on paper. So, gotta give him his credit. Yeah, Ankalaev at 6. But number 5, I've got Pantoja. The guy has beaten everybody, and he's beaten everybody multiple times. But Kai Asakura did not have a UFC fight before he fought Pantoja, and Urseg was number 10. So that's the reason that Pantoja is not like number 2. But still, incredibly impressive to be able to clear out the division like he has. He's beat Moreno 3 times, Royval twice. He's beat Kopp, beat Urseg, beat Asakura, beat Alex Perez. And yeah, he's about to fight Kakara France. Probably. That's not official, but I feel like that's what's going to happen. So if he beats Kakara France, got to move him up the list. But right now, I have him at 5. Number 4, we've got Merab Dvalishvili. Now, I have Merab this high because of his wins before the belt. Fucking Jose Aldo, Henry Cejudo, Sean O'Malley, and now he's beat Umar. He's beat Marlon Moraes. He's beat Peter Yan. The guy has beaten the best bantamweights that are active right now. Crazy impressive resume. He's beaten everybody. He just beat Umar. So, I got to give Marab his credit, even though I'm not a big fan of him. The guy is one of the most dominant. Not his fights aren't dominant, okay, but he has been beating everybody in the division. So he's almost cleared out the division. There's nobody left for him to fight except Pantoja. So Pantoja's not even a bantamweight. Like, it's just crazy how much this guy has done, even before the belt. So yeah, gotta have Marab at 4. Number 3, I got DDP. Sean Strickland twice, Whitaker by KO, and Izzy by submission. That is fucking crazy. Okay? That is insane. That resume. DDP is 3. Um, if he beats Hamzat, he's 2. If he beats Mavov or Kyle Barallo after that, he's number 1 and he's the middleweight go. He's beating the best middleweights of our time, and he's getting better every single fight. He's defended his belt twice now. He's gonna fight Hamzat. So, I mean, I gotta have DDP at 3, dude. It's just It's just so impressive. It's crazy what this guy's been able to do. But yeah, number 2, I'm sure you can guess who it is. Ilia Topuria beat the 2 greatest featherweights of all time, back to back by KO. Number 2, no question. Fighter of the year in 2024. He's vacated his belt. About to move to 155. It's just, this guy has plot armor. It's insane. Not much more to say about it. He's one of the best fighters in the UFC, one of the most well-rounded fighters. Best striker in the UFC, in my opinion. Yeah. Number 1, Islam. Broke the record for lightweight title defenses. Beat Charles Oliveira by submission. Submitted Dustin Poirier. Knocked out Volkanovski. And then beat a prime Volkanovski. And he just submitted Moicano in the first round. Before the belt, he destroyed Bobby Green in a minute. Before it was cool to do that, by the way. Like, he submitted and destroyed Bobby Green in a minute before it was cool. Like, I know everybody's doing that now, but Islam was like the guy to start that. Okay? He beat Thiago Moises, Davey Ramos, Drew Dober, Dan Hooker. He beat Dan Hooker, bro. Dan Hooker is almost top 5. He destroyed him in a minute. So, he's got to be number 1. If he gets another win, it's going to be borderline impossible to catch up to him. Best lightweight ever. Best fighter ever, in my opinion. Like, I wouldn't have him number 1 on the GOAT list. I'd have him number 3. But in terms of skill, I think he is the best fighter ever. So, let me know what you guys think of my list. Let me know if you guys would make any changes, add anybody new to the list, replace anybody. I hope you enjoyed the video, and goodbye.